like very basic information, why the RSA Archer tool is becoming so demand in the market, and why this tool is used for the GRC purpose, why this tool is not, why the web application is not used in this. Um, so all these informations we'll be discussing for today. Yeah, so let's start with the session. I'm just,
Really,
yeah.
your voice is breaking a lot.
Um, can you hear me now clearly?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so let me repeat it. So we are going to talk about the RSA Archer overview for today. We'll be talking why the RSA Archer is used for GRC, why not web application cannot be used. So, and other things related to the GRC and different types of tools involved in GRC. So all these things we'll be talking for today session. Please let me know if you have any questions in between. I can clear you all those questions. Yeah, so let me start with the session first. So today's agenda is um, overview of GRC, um, traditional technique, uh, and what are the Archer out-of-the-box solutions. Which comes by default, right? So they call it as out-of-the-box solutions. um, Gartner Magic Quadrant. So, to know the demand of Archer, you should check the Gartner Magic Quadrant. Like, each technologies will have this Gartner Magic Quadrant. Even RSA have this thing. So, to see this demand, we have to see this Gartner Magic Quadrant. And what are the benefits of enterprise GRC program? And the RSA Archer architecture, like how it is designed and how it is structured. Yeah, for a developer, in developer perspective, this architecture is not much important, but it's good to know how it is designed. Yeah. If you're a system admin or a support admin, ID admin, right, you should know about these architecture, how the Archer is designed. Yeah, and yeah, let's start with the overview of GRC first. Um, So, um, GRC. So, GRC is called as Governance, Risk Management, and Compliance. So, GRC comes under cybersecurity, and under cybersecurity, under GRC, all these tools like RSA Archer, Metric Stream, ServiceNow, and IBM Notes, and there are various type of tools under that. So these tools are used to automate, like it's a kind of automating the GRC process. So first we'll see what is GRC and why it is getting automated, what issue they faces, um, and how they're overcoming with these tools. Yeah, so let's talk about that for today. So before that, we should know what is GRC. So governance, risk management, and compliance. So governance, it's kind of a setting a rules to an organization. Let's take an organization. So each organization will have their own policy, will have their rules and regulations and everything. Um, let's take a simple example. Like you need to swipe the card to get into your office. So it's a policy. Most of the company will have that kind of a policy. So it's basically a set of regulations, laws, policy set up by an organization or by a regulatory bodies or law. So it's basically policy. It's set by an organization or different types of laws or by the regulatory bodies. That is the governance. Um, so risk. So risk is nothing but like kind of uncertainty. Like if you're not following this policy, it leads to the risk. Like if you're not swiping the card and getting into the office, you're just tailgating, then it's kind of a risk. Like anyone can come and sit, right? And if the security is not in the place, then it's a risk. So um, in this, we'll be calculating how much risk I mean, how much impact they have with this risk, and what is the likelihood, how likely it can happen. So those kind of details are captured in this risk management. And I mean, the risk can be of various types, like it can be a IT risk, or a process risk, or operation risk, or it could be a physical risk also. So this tool, right? This tools help us to capture all those risks within the organization, and and the impact of that risk, and the likelihood as well. So let's take an example for IT risk. So let's say, I mean, in your organization, they're using a laptop with the older version of OS, like let's say Windows 7. Windows 7 is, I mean, the support for Windows 7 is already decommissioned, or like they discontinued the thing, right? So if any new vulnerabilities, any threats, any flaw in the system, right, OS, um, it's not, I mean, the Windows is not going to support that, and anyone can come inside and they can steal your data. So that is clearly a risk, and you should upgrade your system to the Windows 10 or Windows, I mean, latest system, I mean, latest OS. So so these kind of a risk are captured, and they are mitigated in the risk management part. Uh, so it's a big part in this, how we are going to mitigate the risk. There are different types of mitigation process involved in this. Um, so we'll be talking about that later. So this is how the risk is mitigated and captured in the Archer part. Um, and the last one is compliance. So um, whatever policies, regulations, laws are set by the governance, right? The executives or leadership team. Um, so the employees has to adhere to all those rules. If they are not adhering to all those rules and regulations, then it's a in compliance issue. Um, like uh, um, like uh, let's say if you're there's a timesheet, right? I mean, everyone has to fill the timesheet. If they're not filling the timesheet, I mean, it's a policy or rule in your company. If they are not filling the timesheet, then it's an in compliance issue. So, I mean, if they're not following the policy and rules, then it's a in compliance. So, this compliance part comes to make sure all the employees are adhering to the rules and regulations. If they're not adhering to these rules, then we'll be um, like try to mitigate that those things. We'll be creating an exception. Like we don't know why the employee did not do that, right? So we need to investigate that thing issues, and that is a separate process which goes under the compliance and thing. Um, so these things we'll be talking about. I mean, more later. So this is the compliance part. So this is overall thing of governance, risk, and compliance. So I'll just pause here, and let me know if you have any questions on this GRC, because it's a basic thing. Um, to Without knowing this, we can't start working on Archer applications. Just a basic idea you should know about what is GRC. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll move on to the next slide then. So this is um, the book. I mean, the definition of GRC, an approach, I mean, GRC process, an approach to align the organization governance, risk, and compliance process to its strategy, allowing for convergence and transparency of the information to drive performance and resilience in dynamic economic business environment. To uh, to sum up this, basically, an organization, I mean, the governance, risk, and compliance process is all about a strategy, how the governance should be followed within an organization, like how to mitigate the risk, and how to minimize it, and how to compliance with various laws and regulation. So yeah, it's basically a process to follow all these three different types. Um, to mitigate the risk and how to compliance with all these rules and regulations. Talks about that. Yeah. So the next slide. So yeah, it's a traditional technique. Okay. So um, this GRC. So let's go beyond like 10 years before. That time the GRC um, had only less. I mean, that time we didn't have that much regulations and law. That time we had only internal audit and general counsel. I mean, this IA and GC, right? Um, this IA and GC are the oldest one. So I mean, that time we had these two regulations, and so uh, I mean, the in the traditional technique, right? They were using a paperworks or Excel workbooks um, to like to do all these kind of mappings. So under GRC, we have different types of departments like operations, finance, HR, sales, and manufacturing or IT department. So they have different types of departments in their company, and each department has to adhere to different type of laws and regulation. So that time, I mean, 10 years before, they did not have that much laws and regulations. So it was very easy to maintain all those things like rules and regulation for each departments. So, but now we can, I mean, I mean, the years right after every year we started bringing different, I mean, new types of regulations and law. Like, I mean, 2 years before we came up with GDPR. I don't know. Some of them may aware of this GDPR thing. It's about the Privacy Act, and even Google paid a fine of 44 million dollars, euro dollars, last year because they did not adhere to those policy and regulations. So and CCP is same as privacy, but it's applicable to California employees and I mean California people um, who works with the data. And there are different types. I just mentioned only few here. They have PCI DSS, which is for the card payments. I mean, whatever card payment you have, right? I mean, most of the card has to adhere to PCI DSS laws and regulations. EPA is for health and safety. So there are some rules and regulations that your health data should not be shared with other people. Only it should be shared with you and your relatives. So so those kind of laws and regulations are structured in this. So what happened day by day? New regulations have started coming up, and it become a mess to map these laws and regulation with the departments. Even departments started increasing, so it became a mess. They're not able to like maintain a relationship between the regulations and the departments. So I mean, because of that, there are a lot of redundancies have started coming up, and cost of compliance. Yeah. So if I gave an example, right, that Google did not adhere to the GDPR rule. Because of that, they started paying fine like penalty for to the company. So so because of if you're not maintaining this GRC thing, you will be ending up with cost of like you have to pay more um, from your pocket. So yeah, so we should take care of all these things. And ineffectiveness, yeah, structure is always ineffectiveness because they are not. I mean, it's redundancy. So they're not using they're not reusing the data. So yeah, so these kind of disadvantages are there in a traditional technique. So for this, we started. I mean, these tools came up like called RSA Archer. There are different types of tools in market. One of the tool is RSA Archer, and we have various tools like ServiceNow. ServiceNow is like I mean 1.5 year before they started this CRC, and they are still in the starting stage of that. And we have a metric stream. The another tool, GRC tool, it's called metric stream, and we have IBM Notes. It's developed by IBM company, and we have logic gates. We have different types of tools in market, but uh, RC Archer is one of the most demand in the markets. Um, yeah. So what Archer gives us? So Archer gives everything in a single unified console, like everything, like rules and regulation, risk, compliance, and everything in a like isolated database. So you can see everything in a one single system. You don't need to go to a different Excel to refer something. You don't need a shared drive or something like to refer the data. So everything will be in a structured format, and you'll be you can see all those in the Archer itself. So yeah, and they have integrated libraries. When you say integrated libraries, right? So let's say you have a risk. Um, so for I mean to mitigate the risk, they'll be putting some controls to that. I mean controls in the sense let's say um, mm, okay, I'll take an example of tailgating. I mean, every employee has to swipe and they have to go into the office. So if let's say if they are tailgating, we should put some controls on that, right? Like we don't know. We should. I mean, the security is not there, and the security camera is not there. So anyone can come into the office. So we need to put some controls to that. The controls is one is security camera is one of the control, and the next one is security person. So if you like install these two, if you put these two thing in place, so the risk can be mitigated. Yeah, risk can be mitigated easily, but still there will be nine like 0.1% risk can be there. Yeah, anyone can come with some other ID card and they can get inside the office. But that cannot be, I mean, with these two controls, we can't mitigate that. We need to think about a different control for that. I mean, there will be some other department to bring up, like they will create all these controls and they give it to us, and we'll be importing into the Archer libraries and we'll be mapping to the risk, and we'll not be working on the control parts. But yes, this is an example I gave for controls. What is for the controls? Um, so there will be a risk, and you need to put these controls to reduce the risk. That's it. This is the process of risk management. Yeah. Um, so with this RC Archer, you can reuse the data. Um, so no need of like creating multiple I mean, data again and again. You can reuse the data. I mean, there are different types of features in RSA Archer that you can reuse the data within the Archer and reducing compliance of, I mean, the cost of compliance. Yes, it is. You can't see it clearly, but it definitely reduces the cost of compliance and effectiveness. It's more effectiveness rather than working on the Excel documents or the shared documents. It's better to go with RSA Archer or some other GRC tools in the market. So they here it says integrated frameworks like COSO and COBIT. So that is a framework which they use for risk management. That is if you're more functional, then you will be talking more about this COSO and COBIT process. So, like, I mean, let's say if you use C# .NET, right? I mean, .NET is a framework. which we'll be using for developing the application. So it's similar to that. So we'll be using a COVID framework. They will have some set of frameworks. So based on that frameworks, we'll be managing those risks. Um, so these things is done using the COSA and COVID. Yeah. Um, so I'll just pass here and we'll wait for question if they have any. Okay, I'll just move on. Yeah. So this is the Archer out of the box solutions. So Archer provides different types of modules. Yeah, in by default. I mean, you need to purchase all these modules separately. Each module costs around $5,000 to $10,000. Yeah, it depends. I mean, I think it's annually. I'm not sure about the price thing, but it's more costly. Yeah. So, so policy management. It's one of the module in Archer which captures all the policy within the organization, and threat management, which captures all the threat happening outside the organization, like different types of threats are there, right? Ransomware or different types. So all these are captured and sent, I mean, pulled inside the Archer. Um, so that is done through the threat management, and so those threats are reviewed, and I mean, there will be some SME subject matter is expert who reviews those threads and like validate, like I mean, they'll be doing some review process, and they'll be checking if it impacts the company or not. If it is not impacting, they just leave all those threads. If it is impacting, then they'll be working on those threads, what needs to be improved, what if there is, I mean, if they need to change any policy, if they need to create any new policy to avoid these threats. So yeah, they'll be doing all these thing in the threat management. And enterprise management, it's for the relationship and dependencies within the enterprise, I mean, within the your within your organization. So risk management, it's basically identify your risk and capture all the risk, and the mitigation process will go inside this. And yeah, so you can mitigate a risk or you can accept a risk. So all these process goes inside the risk management. Yeah. So, and next is business continuity management. So if any disaster occurs, right, so we'll be using this business continuity management. I think most of them are aware of this BCM process. So even Archer has that. So we can use that for that purpose, disaster management. So incident management is about the incident, any incident happening inside your organization, like whether it's a cyber incident or a physical incidents. So all these incidents are managed in this incident management. So vendor management. So vendor management is nothing but if you're trying to hire some third party vendor to your company, like a catering service or some other service, right? Um, so we'll be doing a due diligence, like we'll be doing a review process, whether they are okay. Like there will be some different multiple process going on in the back end, like checking all whether the vendor is good or not. So if so, all these process comes in this vendor management. I mean, catering, I just gave an example, but there are different types of vendors for a company. Like for the laptops, right? Your company will have some laptops. So, I mean, those laptops are coming from a different third-party vendor. So, we'll be doing a due diligence to that vendor, and so we'll be doing all these things in this vendor management. Um, and yeah, next is audit management. So, audit management. So if you're doing any audit to your company, right? So we'll be capturing all those audit details in this audit management and compliance management. Yeah. So compliance management is the main part here. Compliance management, policy management, and risk management. So compliance management will have all these compliance things. If anyone is not adhering to the compliance, right? So we'll be adding all those things in this, and yeah. So this is the overall Archer structure. I mean, the Archer out of the box solutions. Um, yeah. So I mean, Archer gives all these by default, but um, the company have to pay for each and every modules. Yeah. So the next one is Gartner Magic Quadrant. So yeah, you need to see the demand of Archer in this. So you can see the fourth quadrant, right? Leaders quadrant, this right side. You can see the Dell Technologies RSA here. Dell Technologies RSA. So yeah, so RSA is a leader in the GRC domain. So so even ServiceNow is here. So all these are GRC tools. So whatever you see here, right, it's a GRC tools. Um, but RSA is in leaders quadrant, and other tools are in different quadrants. Um, so this is 2019 screenshot. In 2020 also they are in leaders quadrant. For yeah, like I have been seeing like for like 6 to 7 years they are in leaders quadrant. They do not move in any of these quadrants. You can search in Google with this quadrant, magic quadrant, and RSA. You'll get all the details. Yeah, you can see the demand of Archer by seeing this. Yeah. So most of the companies uses Archer because of the security purpose, and because of like to configure it's very easy. We don't need any developers, I mean the coding knowledge or programming knowledge to develop this to configure this applications. So yeah, so that is why most of the clients prefer RSA Archer over metric stream. So for metric stream, they definitely need a Java knowledge. Without Java, we can't configure the metric stream. Java and SQL knowledge should be there. For ServiceNow, you definitely need a scripting knowledge. Without scripting knowledge, you can't um, do a customization of your application. So yeah, but RSA doesn't need any knowledge of coding, programming, or any knowledge. You can directly, it's all tool based, drag and drop, and everything is there within the Archer itself. So yeah, that is why most of the company goes with the RSA. And the next one is the architecture of Archer. So it's a common architecture where most of the web applications uses this. I mean, it's a simple. So so external applications is linked. Okay. So the I mean RSA Archer, right? They use a database called SQL Server, and these three are logical tiers. These are not physical tiers. So physically they have database and they have web servers or application servers. So and database is connected to those two servers, and with the Archer application installed, and from there um, the Archer user can request for the data, and the response is sent to them um, through the HTTP or HTTPS. So let's say if you want to integrate a third-party application, right? We have a web services for RSA Archer, so we can leverage them to pull or push the data directly using that. But the Archer don't give access to the database directly. So most of the data in RSA Archer is encrypted. So if you just go to Archer database, also you don't find the data. I mean the same data in the database. So most of the data is encrypted, is in encrypted format. So um, you can't directly write the data in the database also. Um, so that is why they mostly recommend us to use a web services API in this um, to if you want to push or pull the data. Yeah. So this is the architecture of RSA Archer, and it's not. I mean, nothing is there. It's a basic architecture. Um, Most of the web application uses this. Yeah, yeah. So the next one is structure of an Archer. So Excel, if you compare Excel with an RSA Archer, right? Um, both are most likely like same. Like maybe I can say 90% they are same. Um, so I mean, I think most of them knows about the Excel thing, right? So they call it as a workbook, and inside workbook, I mean, each sheets are called as worksheets, and the rows, I mean, the rows in the Excel, the column, and the charts in the Excel. So the similar way, even Archer have the own structure. Um, so they have a solution. Solution is nothing but like under solution. Solution is nothing but a kind of a package. Under that the solution will have different types of applications bundle, a kind of a bundle. Um, and worksheet is a separate application. So under solution you can have a multiple applications. So that is what they're trying to say in this. Um, and the rows are called as records, and columns is called as fields, and chart is called as iViews in Archer. So I mean, with this, right, I am saying that it's more easier to learn about Archer when you compare with Excel, or even we have some calculation in Archer, like calculating a risk in the back end, calculating a score. Some different types of calculations are there. So those calculations also will be similar, most likely similar to the Excel calculations. So if you're like if you're more like I mean if you're good at Excel calculations, then I think you can easily do Archer calculations as well. Yeah. So the next one is, yeah. So these are the components of RSA Archer. So we have different types of components like access controls, appearance, application builder, discussion forums, integrations, management reporting, notifications, and workspace and display. Um, yeah. So let's talk about each and every component of Archer. So access control is nothing but access part where you create a new user, and give access to users. Like you can create different types of roles within the Archer, and you can assign those roles to the new users. So it's basically giving access to an application. Um, this is used to give an access to an application or to the user. So yeah, so access part is completely in the access controls, and next is the appearance. So let's say if you want to change any logos or any header or footer, or if you want to change any title of your web page, so this appearance is used. Yeah, so you can change all those things you in this appearance component. And next to that is application builder. Application builder is where you create all those applications, like I was talking about the risk management, compliance management, policy management, and everything, right? So all those applications are resides in this application builder. So yeah, so if you want to do a customization on those applications, then you have to go inside this application builder. So yeah, so the next is discussion forums. So Discussion forums is nothing but kind of a forum where you can exchange your information on, like, if you want to do any discussion on your topics, right? Between your end users. So you can discuss in that discussion forums. Yeah. So next is integration part. So integration, let's say if you want to do a third party integration, like a kind of external integration, right? Um, you can do an integration in this component, like they have web services API, and they have data feeds. So there are different types of uh, I mean uh, techniques to do an integration. Yeah. And the next one is management reporting. So uh, if you want to create a chart, iView, or reports, right? So we'll be creating under this management reporting. Yeah, and notifications. So yeah, so let's say if you want to trigger any notification to the end users based on any value change or any reminder notification or anything related to the notification, right? Can be done in this notification component. And the next to that, and it's the last one. So it's a workspace and dashboard component. So workspace and dashboard component is most likely used with the reports and IVs. So whatever charts and IVs you're creating, right? So you need, and you can place all those IVs to a dashboard. Let's say, if you want to place a report to a landing page of the end user, right? If the end user is logging to a Archer instance, then if they want to see a report at the landing page, then you have to create a dashboard. You need to place all those IVs to those dashboard. So yeah, I think yeah, it's a basic one. We'll be talking more about workspace and dashboard when we get into the Archer tool. Um, yeah, when we start with the session. Um, so yeah, so that's it for the session. Anyone have any questions?
I so do we need any XML or XSLT knowledge for this?
Um, yes. Not for customizing the application. So
Hmm.
when I say the integration, right? There is an integration part in this.
Okay.
So when you're trying to integrate with a third party application, third party tools or somewhere, right? So that
Hmm.
time you need a XSLT or XML configuration. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Any web service knowledge?
Sorry, web?
Web service knowledge.
Yes, we need for integration purpose. Yeah. So if you want to
Integration purpose.
use a API, right, to
Hmm.
integrate something, then we need a web services knowledge.
Oh, okay. Any SOAP or REST web services?
Yeah, we do have. Yeah,
SOAP
yeah, we do
and
have a scope. Yeah, yes,
the web service. Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Mm,
So Archer support multiple languages. You can use any programming language to pull or push data into the Archer.
okay.
Yeah.
And is Archer development and admin, is the both are different or is same? Let's say,
So
come to the job market, I saw some
mhm.
RSA Archer administrator and RSA Archer developer.
Yeah.
Like how it goes, let's come to the job market.
So two different things are here. So
Mm,
the development and the
admin.
admin part. So developer most likely they will give they'll get work every day. But
Mm,
when you take admin, right, they have to take care of these servers, Archer web servers. If anything goes wrong in the backend, they have to take care. They most likely don't work on the Archer development part. The configuring the Archer thing, right? They don't work on that. I mean, they will not have work on configuring all these Archer applications. They will have only access to the backend. I mean, Archer have different things like front end and the back end of Archer. So backend
Okay.
has a control panel where
Mm.
they can see all the running jobs, what are the jobs are running in the backend. So if they want to kill any job, if they want to delete any job, they can do in that backend. And if the Archer is not working, then the developer cannot do anything. Only the Archer admin has to take care. That time, Archer admin plays as an important role in this. If Archer goes down or Archer is not working, or if Archer is loading for a long time, so all these things needs to be taken care of by the admins, Archer admins. And but if you take Archer developer, right, they do all the development parts. They will create a new application. They will and like they customize the existing application. They create an integration. So integration, whatever you say, right? Integration, XSLT, XML, SOAP, I mean web services. Everything comes to the developer part. And maintaining a backend server and Archer goes for the RSA admin. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after the training, I can get any job support or anything from you?
Yeah. Yeah. We can. Yeah.
Sure, sure. That's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's everything from my side.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm, thank you.
Um, anyone have any questions? Okay.
Mm. And is it possible? Can you please send me these presentation skills to my
Yeah.
email? Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Sure. I will talk to them. And I'll
Yeah,
send you. Yeah. Yeah.
sure. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Mm. And how many hours we need? I need to take the class. Like how it goes for your training? Like the monthly is going to be finished like monthly or 2 months or how many hours?
So when you I mean, talk about hours, right? It takes around 30 hours of training.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I should consult with the mo yeah. I'll talk to you on this. Yeah. I'm not
Oh.
sure how it's going to be. Uh, let me talk to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sure, sure. And last
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Sure.
come to the certification side.
Mhm.
As I know,
Mhm.
it's not required for jobs, but it is,
Mhm.
it's good to have on the resume. Uh, so I know I did some Google search. It's cost around 180 dollars for American dollars.
Um,
Uh,
so so it's $150. There are two different
yes.
certifications.
Oh,
So
two different.
one, yeah. So one is called as associate, and another one is called professional. So
Okay.
both are $150. Associate is like kind of a basic certification, not basic. Um, so you should, maybe I can say 50% of Archer you should know to complete that certification. And
Hmm.
so for the professional certification, kind of advanced one, where you should know all these integration part and other things of Archer. Integration is most likely nobody will work. I mean, they that needs more programming knowledge, right? So they don't. I mean, few of them they don't work on that. So that comes in under the professional part.
Oh, profession.
Um, so first you need to complete associate to complete this professional. You can't directly take that. So
That.
it's a
Oh, okay,
prerequisite.
okay.
Yeah, of that. Yeah,
Hmm. Both are $150 or each individual, each 150?
yeah. Each $150. Yeah,
Oh, each $150.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sure. Is the training part is enough to write the exam or we need any special efforts?
Um, I would say like if you work for 4 to 5 months, that is perfectly enough. Like you can score 80 to 90% easily on
Oh,
that.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. And I can support you on that if you need it after that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay. Thank you, Dilip.
yeah. You're
Yeah,
good here?
this is Vinay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, actually, what are the prerequisites to learn this training and how is the job market for this?
So I mean, there is no prerequisite for this, but you should. It's good to know if you have GRC knowledge. Um, yeah, if you have that, that's really good. If you don't have, it's okay. You can learn later. And the job market is very high currently, even this during this COVID situation, right? We are getting more job opportunities for this RSA Archer. You can just Google I mean, search RSA Archer jobs in Google. You will get many during these days. So that is because this GRC comes under cybersecurity. So during this situation, most of the companies are going under different types of things, right, impacting the cybersecurity. So because of that, this GRC is booming, and yeah, not only RC Archer, most of the tools are like going in this situation. Yeah, but I can say that in future also maybe for next 4 to 5 years, I can say that RSA Archer is going to have more demand in the market. Um, but after 4 to 5, I cannot say because some other tool can come because it's completely based on the tool, right? Any tool can come in future, which can be better than this RSA Archer. Yeah, but currently these have more demand. Yeah, that's
Okay,
what I
so
can
are you
say.
going to
Yeah.
cover here in admin part and development?
Only the development part. Admin, I can cover, but I cannot show the control panels because I don't have access to that. Yeah, I can cover what maybe I can cover theoretically, not practically.
To go with the
Maybe.
development part, should we have good knowledge on development like JavaScript and all those are basic is enough.
Yeah, maybe I can show you some screenshots of control panel. How does it like looks like? Um, yeah, but practically it's not possible. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. So I think we can close this session. If you don't have any questions. Um, Thanks everyone
Oh,
for joining
yeah,
this demo session.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dilip. Thank you so much. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah, yeah. Bye bye. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.